Yes! Yes! Yes, I am live. It's Wednesday. It's Wednesday, my very first Wednesday show. I'm very excited. Lots of great football happened over the weekend. We're going to go ahead and talk football. I am live streaming to you on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. I'm going to work on trying to build up the Twitch brand and do a lot more on Twitch. I'm very, very excited. I better actually check to make sure I am actually live on Facebook. Let's see here. And YouTube is a plus, and I believe I'm also live on Facebook. So it looks like we are good to go, man. We are good to go. Very, very, very good weekend for football. I'm excited for football season to start. However, let's just get this out of the way. I was completely wrong about the Washington football team. That was my number one pick. That was my number one bet, and I am wrong. When I'm wrong, I say I'm wrong. And hey, look, it's what happens, man. It's what happens here. I got some great comments coming in. What I think of Pleasant chewing out Okuda. I did not see that. I did not have a chance to watch this game. Thanks to YouTube TV, I can watch a lot more football. I have all 32 teams saved, so every time an NFL team plays a game, it gets saved to my DVR library. I did not have a chance to watch this game. I saw some of the highlights, and I watched, I think it was the last 45 seconds of the game when it was up 41-33. So I was watching it, and I'm like 41-17 late in the fourth. Okay. Next thing I know, it's 41-33, and I'm like, what the hell just happened? So I saw the clips and I saw the last drive and went over some of the box score. I don't know about this, but Okuda is out for the year. That's not a good thing. Not a good thing at all. So let's go Detroit. All right, listen, I'm going to tell you something, Lions fans. You should be excited, but for 2022, this is going to be a bad year. That was not a good loss. I mean, when you're down by 24 points late in the fourth quarter, it's great that you came back within 8, that you had a chance to win the game. But I mean, 41 points, and that was kind of more of San Francisco taking their foot off the gas than Detroit doing good. I mean, let's just be honest here. But it's a good thing that you didn't quit, that you showed some toughness, that you showed some fight. And the best part is you got 2 number 1 picks next year, and that first pick's probably going to be a top 5 pick. Okuda being out for the season's not a good thing, especially when you gave up 41. So, that's good. That's good that there's some excitement. Just I've been telling you guys all off season, you're building a great foundation. It's just not going to result in a lot of wins for 2021, and just go with that, and you'll have a great season. I don't know what happened, so this is news to me. So this is a good thing, I'm guessing. Imagine not being 1-0 and leading the league. Alex, welcome, brother. Congratulations, a great victory. And who is leading the AFC South, Alex? If you could put a comment in there. I don't know who's winning the AFC South. Who is the undisputed first place team in the AFC South? If you could let me know, I'd appreciate it. That is not true. We don't know. And here's the deal with week 1. There's always a team that wins week 1 that's a complete fraud, and I'm going to talk about that because I think there's 2 candidates. Remember last year Jacksonville won week 1, and then they lost 15 straight? This has happened several times in NFL history where a team wins week 1 and it's a complete fluke. This usually happens almost every year. There's a fluke, and I'm going to give you 2 teams I think you have to eyeball as possible flukes. And then I'm going to give you 2 teams that I think week 1's really telling. I think week 1 showed that you're not the team that everybody, thought you were. And I'm going to give you 2 more teams that I think the media overlooked that, thanks to week 1 performances, may be better. Alex is very happy. Alex is very happy. Probably lose to Green Bay too. It's in Lambeau. You're 11.5-point dog. It makes sense that you would lose to Green Bay. James, I've been saying this for a while. What you're looking for is what happened in week 1, where you showed some fight and you showed some good things. What you're looking for is things to improve on, but it's not going to equal wins and losses. I would be concerned if you lost 48-0 or 41-7. But if you play them, let's just say 34-24 and you're competitive, or let's just say 34-31 and you have a chance to win, that's a good thing. And just looking at the stat line, your backs played well. Hawkinson played well. You guys will have to tell me. How well Sewell played on the left side. I mean, that's a big deal. Here's a guy who struggled as a rookie, struggled on the right side. Makes sense. He's a rookie, didn't play last year. And then all of a sudden, hey, look, I know all offseason, all training camp, you're on the right side, left side starter gets hurt. Let's move you over there. That's a big adjustment. Yeah, he played it in college. Who cares if he played the left side on college? It doesn't matter. And how did he play? I was told he actually played well. You guys have told me. I don't know about us losing to the Packers. I'm looking forward to that game. I want to see how both teams react. I want to see Detroit come out and play aggressive. That's what I want to see. I don't want them to say, hey, we gave up 41 to San Francisco. Now we got Aaron Rodgers coming in, and I want to see them play aggressive. That's the number one key. Forget the win and loss. I mean, don't know me wrong. If Detroit wins, it's going to be awesome. I know I'd be excited, and I know you'll be excited, but I would be more concerned with how they look. I'm glad Wednesdays. Yeah, I've been waiting, man. I've been waiting. So yeah, I've been waiting. So I'm very excited. And by the way, James, it 100% could happen. 100%. I had about 8 cups of coffee. I got like half a cup here, but I have 8 cups of coffee. I'm super jacked up. Texans lose to the Browns, but it could be a close game, 31-27 Browns. Actually, I'll talk about this a little later. I already made 2 bets on my bookie. I put a link in the description if you want to go ahead and try it out. Just fair warning, I have never tried to withdraw money from my bookie, so I don't know how that's going to go. This is an interesting game because last I looked, the line was 12.5, and I'm really tempted to take the Texans because, yeah, I can see Cleveland winning, but Jedrick Wills, left tackle, could be out. They had some injuries in the secondary. Not only that, even though they stuffed the run against Kansas City, Kansas City's a pass-first team with a beat-up secondary. It made sense for Kansas City. Which didn't really abandon the run, but they didn't have success. I think the Houston Texans will have a little more success running the ball, which will be kind of interesting to see how that front handles it. Because I think the Cleveland Browns are built to rush the passer, but I didn't really think they would be very good at stopping the run. They did a really good job against Kansas City, though. But I think the Texans' running offense is going to be a little different than Kansas City's running offense. Tyrod Taylor's a better scrambler. Mark Ingram, 27 carries. I love it. And he's a guy who can handle 27 carries. He only got 84 yards, but that's all you need him for. You're not asking him to get, a 80-yard touchdown run. You're asking him to move the chains. And if you do that against Cleveland, you're going to control the clock. And as you saw against Kansas City, Baker Mayfield will make mistakes. He's not an elite quarterback. He's a good quarterback. He's not elite. So 7.5 Funk. So I lost. I made the bet before Decker got injured. And after he got injured, it went from 7.5 to 9. And a lot of places at 8.5. So I got 7.5. I lost 50. So okay, so what happened? I'm going to guess at what happened. I didn't see this, but I'm going to guess what happened is he did something, got chewed out. I know he's out for the year, and that's a big loss. I mean, he's a number 3 overall pick, and I didn't think he has Pro Bowl potential. All right, he has Pro Bowl potential, but I didn't think he was the player Lattimore was coming out. But I thought he was just as good as Denzel Ward. Denzel Ward's been to a Pro Bowl, so that's a big loss. It's a shame, but let me give you a positive. He's going to sit out. He's going to learn this defense, and then he'll come back in training camp at 100%. And I think what's going to happen, and we'll have to see how the rest of the season goes, but I think what's going to happen is that I really think you're going to change your defensive philosophy. I think you're going to go with that Dennis Allen 4-3, either midway through this season or next year, especially if you give up 40 points a game. And that's really what I think you should have done. And I want to get to some of the comments because I could rant about this quite a bit, but it's a shame that they ruptured his Achilles. Real shame, because he was going to be, I think, a potential bright spot. And it's a building block for 2022. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing for the future. Just 2021. Just remember, building block, small moral victories, just probably not a lot in the win column. What happened was the Niners started putting backups and Verrett got hurt, and they went free. Okay. That's kind of what I thought. Verrett got hurt. Rashawn Mosert's out for the year. And this is a good thing for me. I never want to see a player get hurt, but I have the Niners under 10 wins at plus 150. I bet 1,000 on it. So that 1,000 would win me 1,500. So I'd walk out of the casino with 2,500 or zero. So yeah, I'm going to touch base on the Niners-Philly game here in a bit. I'm going to answer some comments here. I'm just excited to talk football on Wednesday. I wasn't planning on it. If anybody wants to talk about the Washington New York game, that's going to be kind of interesting. Instead of going out and signing Cam, which I was kind of surprised because, I mean, you got a relationship with Cam. I mean, Ron Rivera was in Carolina almost Cam Newton's whole career. Why wouldn't you reach out to him and say, hey, you want to come in, maybe, come in for a couple of weeks? Apparently nothing. They're going to roll with Heineke for about 2 months. Kind of interesting. David Coley seems amazing for a head coach role. I'd run through a brick wall. Texans Super Bowl. Okuda being out isn't going to change anything about this year, but might force him to safety. I don't know. I mean, I know Luke G said the same thing, but I have a hard time believing you take a guy 3rd overall as a corner and just saying 2 years later, you're going to play safety. I just don't just have a hard time believing that. But we'll see. I believe when we drafted Melly, he was his replacement. We'll have to wait and see. I don't think so. I think that he'll come back in 2022 and have a starting corner role. But because the regime that you have now didn't draft him, that might be the case. I don't think so, but we'll have to wait and see. Urban Meyer may not be in the league for long. Rumors saying he's not happy with the NFL and his veteran coaches aren't happy with him. He may take the UFC job after the year. And I'm assuming it's a typo because the USC job is a premier job in college football. It will pay just as much as an NFL job. The rumor mill was that they want high caliber NFL assistants, Eric Bieniemy, Urban Meyer, I think Jason Garrett. There's 2 more on the list, but USC is a high profile job, and it's something that if the right guy could command $8 to $12 million a year. It's actually the guy at Oklahoma. I'm drawing a blank. Lincoln Riley. Apparently I have a hard time believing Lincoln Riley is going to leave Oklahoma for USC, but it is possible. Maybe he doesn't want to coach in the SEC, but USC will get a big name. I can guarantee you that. And they're looking at possible NFL coaches. Now, Urban Meyer went public and said there's no way he would take that job, but it would not surprise me if after the season's over that he could say, hey, look, screw this. Screw the NFL. I'm getting out of here. And Urban Meyer was not staying in Jacksonville for longer than I'm going to say 4 years. I'd say 5 years would be the absolute maximum. But Urban Meyer's always bounced from place to place, and it wouldn't surprise me if after this year he takes the USC job. Wouldn't surprise me at all. He's publicly said no, but he may have a 4-13 season and say this sucks. This sucks. So yeah, and you have to keep in mind, he's got a guy who's never been defensive coordinator before as his defensive coordinator. The offensive coordinator, I think they've known each other, but they obviously didn't work together. I'm drawing a blank on who it is. I think it's Darrell Bevel off the top of my head, when the guy who stepped in for Detroit took over as the head coaching job in Detroit. They may not respond well to a guy who spent most of his career, in the college ranks. College and the NFL is two different things. Look at Nick Saban, arguably the greatest college coach of all time, not a good NFL head coach. But usually if you go the other way, usually you can have some. Take a look at Herm Edwards. This is a guy I never thought would coach college. He's actually doing a really good job. Arizona State's ranked. Arizona State. Not only is Arizona State ranked, they got some really good players. So Pride, his or Armani's, I mean, they're practically the same guy. Dan Bosa came out and said Sewell belongs. Okay, so that's a major win. I would be curious what they're going to do after the season's over and you get your left tackle back, your starting left tackle back. Do you trade him? Do you want to move Sewell to the right? That's an interesting conversation. So Titans yes, they did. And that's one, I got to see some of the highlights. I really want to watch that game. I want to see how they used Collins and Simmons. I want to see how they use those inside linebackers. So yeah. For the NFL season. Yeah. So that's a good thing. On how they look, Goff proved he's the check down king. Both backs had over 100. I saw that. And I want to touch base on this real fast. I have no idea. You would know better than me. I have a feeling this was done by design. I think that they want Goff to go 1,001. Just remember playing football. I think we're about the same age, Funk. I'm probably older than you, but you remember playing backyard football. You go 1,000 Mississippi, 2,000 Mississippi, 3,000, and then you blitz. Well, I think it's the same thing. They're like, okay, after 3 seconds, just throw the ball. Go. Look here, dump. Look here, dump. It's like 1, 2, 3, and I'm willing to bet that that's not on Goff as much as it's a coaching staff just saying, check down, don't get hurt. We don't want the backup to come in. We're giving you a lot of money. You're going to stay healthy. You're going to play all 17. Check down. And I think that's more on the offensive coaching staff than it is on Goff. Now, you would know better than me, but I would bet money if somebody said, is that Goff or is that the coaching staff? And I would say it's coaching staff. This is probably by design. And a guy like Swift is I mean, look, the guy like Swift's the guy who can take the ball and score anywhere on the field. Jamal Williams, not the same. Hawkinson, not the same. I'm not saying these guys aren't good. I'm just saying they're not guys that can score from anywhere on the field. Swift can score anywhere on the field. That's why getting him the ball 8 times, I think he had eight receptions. That is very smart. Extremely smart. So yeah. The O-line, that's a good thing. If your O-line's dominant, especially with a rookie left tackle, that is a great thing. I'll put some major player stats from the game. That is awesome. Yeah, please do. The Cards were looking like world beaters. I have to admit, I didn't see that game, but yes. Wednesday shows are back. NFL Week 1's in the book. Dan is 72% sure he is not on coke. Something else. Oh yeah, how about the Broncos smackdown? Woo! Yes. Hey, another game I didn't see. I just saw the highlights, and the highlights I saw was Bridgewater looked awesome. Remember, I kept on telling you Bridgewater should start? No, I said just the opposite. I said Locke. Great game. Great game. Melvin Gordon. Now, Melvin Gordon had that 70, I think it was 75 or 80-yard touchdown late. You didn't have a great running game. Jerry Jeudy being out for a couple weeks is going to hurt. But, yes, the AFC West is going to be fun. 4-1-0 teams. 4-1-0 teams, including the Chargers, who I guaranteed would not win. But, you know. Alex bringing the stats. Tyrod Taylor had a good game, 21 out 33 for 291. Wow, that is actually very impressive. That's just doing the math off the top of my head, 14 yards of completion. 2 touchdowns, the two receiving touchdowns came from David Johnson and Danny Amendola. I did see that because I did look at the box score. I was really impressed by I hope so, because I've always had a man crush on Mark Ingram too. Actually, here's how old I am. I actually remember his dad playing in the NFL for both the Giants and the Dolphins, but always loved this kid, and I would love to see him get 27 carries a game every single game, but of course that's not going to happen. But if you run the ball 20, if Ingram gets over 25 carries in the game, you're going to win the game, because that means you're controlling the clock. You can utilize the bootleg. Nico Johnson got to play a little bit. I think he only had like 1 or 2 catches, but that's good that you got a young, talented receiver in there. Cooks, if I remember right, had 7 for 133. Okay, you got the stats here. Okay, 5 for 132. I wasn't even close. Pharaoh Brown had 67 yards on 4 catches. Amendola 34 yards on 5 receptions and a TD. Dude, these are great numbers. Great numbers. Okudah didn't play great after that. He got burned on the ball afterwards. He looked lost on that play. A solid cornerback. Are you talking about the big touchdown Deebo Samuel had? I think it was a 75-yard touchdown. It looked like 2 Lions. One Lion was way out of position. That's not, by the way, that's not terrible either, because you got to realize this is a young player learning a brand new defense for the 2nd year in a row. And I remember 2 years ago, I tried telling a Lions fan who was convinced Okudah was going to have a great rookie year. I'm like, listen, they don't even play the type of defense Patricia is trying to coach on the NFL level. They don't even, that defense doesn't exist on the college ranks. He's like, no, it's basically the same thing Ohio State runs. I'm like, really? If that's the case, bet on the Lions. And of course, I never heard from the guy again. If that's the case, at that play he was burnt on, I wouldn't read too much into it. I would look more and do you feel comfortable that he showed like signs of improving? The injury, being injured I'm sorry, I'm sticking to my seat here. I shouldn't have wore shorts. I would look at it this way. He's going to come in fresh. He's going to come in mini camp fresh. He's going to come into mini camp healed unless there's some complications, even though a couple years, 20 years ago, an Achilles injury could mean, ending your career. Now he'll be good to go, probably start jogging again in a couple months. He'll enter training camp and mini camp fine. He'll be the starting corner, and let's see how he looks at. This is what you're looking for, man. It's what you're looking for. If you have a rookie left tackle, that's a key spot. And if he played well, that is a major, major bright moment. Big spot. Gibson better give me some yards. I think he'll have a decent game. If you're in a PPR league, I expect him lots of catches. So Cam said Cam seemed like he could be a good fit in Washington, but I heard he did a podcast or something. He said that some things did not go over well. Yeah, there seems to be something with Ron Rivera and Cam that they're not. Yeah, they're yeah, and to tell you the truth, that's really kind of sad, because this would be a perfect fit in my opinion. And even if he doesn't start, just have him come in, 4th and 1, 3rd and 1. And are you going to, let me ask you this here. Just forget if you're a fan. who's a better, who gives you Tyler Heineke or Cam Newton? Who really gives you a better chance to win? Even just fresh off the street, doesn't Cam Newton at least give you the better opportunity to win? Even if he doesn't know the offense, so what? He's running a college offense. You make up plays or whatever. I mean, if I was Washington, I would bring in Cam and I would say, look, we're going to scrap the whole offense. We're going to build it around Cam. We'll do the zone read. We'll run whatever you want to run and do the same thing New England did last year. And here's the difference is that this Washington team could have a better defense than what New England had last year. I mean, if you're the Washington football team, you're thinking to yourself, if we score 21 to 20, okay, let's just say 24. We score 24 points, four scoring drives, one scoring drive, a touchdown, a quarter. We're going to win. That's what you got to think to yourself. Somebody scores 30 on you, you're going to lose. Just forget it. We're going to lose. But if we can score 24 points in a game, our defense is good enough to win. It makes more sense for me to bring in Cam. So it's kind of a shame. It's a shame. There's some Carolina players that have come over to Washington with Ron Rivera, so I'm going to blame Cam on this one. You know, if I'm Cam, I call Ron and I say, look, I'm sorry. Let me come in. Let me try out. I'll play tight end, not mean it, but just, you know, that's what I would do. Mike, welcome, brother. Luke G's a delusional homer. Luke, I'm always going to be grateful for Luke for letting me come on his show, and I got lots of love from Detroit. A lot of fans that come on my show, regulars, great guys like One Pride 40 and Funk. I mean, you know, I can't thank these guys enough here, man. And and James, I'm sorry, I forgot off the top of my head. It's not the Coke, even though I'm not on Coke. So I'm not going to say anything bad. After he was on a couple of weeks ago, we talked for about 45 minutes, and he was showing me film. He's like, "No, check these players out, and you know, check this out." And I get what you're saying, Luke. It's just that you're not seeing that this team just lacks talent. And when you're a first time, and Dan Campbell's not a first year head coach, okay, but this is his first time being a head coach. Now, he took over Miami, as you well know, and had, I think, 11 games or something like that. But this is his first time as a head coach. Just because your offensive coordinator has been a head coach before doesn't mean you have experience as a head coach. And, yeah, it's a decent contingency plan only if Campbell gets fired. But it doesn't help Campbell right away. And that's something that every time he talks about contingency plan, it's kind of like, yeah, but I mean, hopefully the Lions improve, but yeah, me and you see the same thing. We're seeing, I think you're lower on them than I am. I think 4 or 5 wins is possible. I think you see 2 or 3 legitimately. And I get where you're coming from, because it's a low talent team. But I think the foundation's solid. Just like I think we agree that the foundation's solid, and all those extra draft picks over the next 2 years are really going to pan out. In a couple of years from now, it wouldn't surprise me if Detroit is one of the more dominant teams in that division. So, in rushing, Ingram had 85 yards on 26 carries. Mr. Colorado Philip Lindsay had 25 yards on 8 carries, both having a rushing TD. Taylor ran for 40 yards. Yeah, this team ran all over Jacksonville, which I was kind of surprised about, because I really thought that switching. Now, here, one thing they did do is they got rid of Schobert, the Pittsburgh, and he was a really underrated part of that running defense that Jacksonville has. Now, I know they're 1-15. So anytime you say, hey, this is a pretty good player, well, it's a 1-15 team. It's overlooked, but he was this dude's a tackling machine. He had like 130 tackles last year. Perfect for Pittsburgh. I mean, I would rather live in Jacksonville than Pittsburgh. I've driven through Pittsburgh. Anyway, I'm not trashing Pittsburgh today, but I mean, who wouldn't want to live in? I mean, Jacksonville or Pittsburgh, come on. But, I mean, as far as a football team, if I was a football player, I'd rather play for the Steelers than the Jags. I mean, let's be honest. And that was a big pickup for the Steelers. And I also think that's kind of a reason why you had to expect a decline in play. Of course, you're switching systems. The system that they're going to run, that 3-4 multifaceted system, it's a brand new defensive coordinator. He comes from the Ravens. It's a multifaceted scheme. There's going to be an adjustment period. But that was a great win by Houston. So, okay, and I am behind on the comments, so my apologies. But I'll try to zip through them here. The regime doesn't have ties to him. He blew out his Achilles tendon. That's going to help him at cornerback. Plus, he has to do nothing but struggle. He could – everything you're saying is right. It's just that I really don't see them just saying, hey, we're going to just move you to safety. I don't see it. But, yeah, everything you're saying is correct. You're not going to give up on a kid, not a kid who's picked third overall. And this is a talented kid. This is a physically gifted kid. I just thought that Patricia's scheme was way out of line. I don't like the defense that they're running. I really think that they need to run the Dennis Allen 4-3 scheme and play a little more zone. But we'll have to wait and see what happens. So we're going to do a lot of draft talk. The D had 3 interceptions. Kirksley, Hargraves, and Justin Reed all getting 1 each. Wintley Merciless getting the lone sack of the game. I'm telling you that the Tampa II defense that they're running is really going to pay off. Really going to pay off. And I hate to say this because I feel like such a dick saying this, but I think you might agree with me here. And let me know, even I'm behind here. I'll catch up. Does Watt being gone from the team help? I know it sounds crazy, but does it help? I didn't watch the game. I saw some clips, but what I saw, the defense just moved a lot faster than it did last year. And give Lovie Smith a ton of credit. So, Mike, what's funny is the first year Lucas. I can vouch for Luke. Luke usually is very objective. Amazingly coached game on all sides of the ball. I'm excited. You should be, but it's only week 1. So, but this scheme works in my opinion. Any scheme can work with the right players. It's just that the players that you got would be much better suited for a 4-3. You lack a lot of speed on that front 7. All right. Okay. I'm sorry I'm behind. I'm going to rant a little bit. I call this the Erickson method, and it's named after Dennis Erickson. Dennis Erickson was a coach at Miami, Arizona State, Oregon State, and he did the same thing at every single location. He said the best way to take a team and add speed is you take your defensive ends, you make them defensive tackles. You take your linebackers, you make them defensive ends. You take your safeties, you make them linebackers. You take your corners, you make them safeties. Boom, instant speed on defense. And then when you go and you recruit, all you're recruiting is corners and defensive tackles. That's it. You're only recruiting those 2 positions on defense, and you got tons of speed all over the field. And everywhere he went, he built a super fast, aggressive, good defense. Well, you can't exactly do that in the NFL, but if you take that 3-4 defense and you transform it to a 4-3, take those outside linebackers, boom, they're defensive ends. You take those 5 techniques, you make them defensive tackles. Your 0 technique, which was Danny Shelton, you got rid of. So you don't have a 0 technique. So you got McNeil, who I thought was better suited for a 4-3 defensive tackle. Boom, you have more speed on your defensive line. You brought in Alex Alzon, something like that, from the Saints. He was already schooled in that 4-3 defense. Boom. And here's the best part about 4-3 defense. Linebackers in a 4-3 defense are a lot cheaper and easier to find than 3-4 linebackers. 3-4 linebackers on the outside are tough to find. 3-4 inside linebackers are hard to find. You can find them here and there. But 4-3 scheme, it's a lot easier. And you could also take safeties and move them to linebacker in a 4-3 defense. That's what Dallas did with Keanu Neal, which adds speed. And that's the thing that you needed, is that your front seven was so god-awful slow last year. That's why if you switch to a 4-3, you would instantly be faster, and that's what you need. That's what you need, speed, because your front seven's slow. Now, I didn't watch the game against San Francisco. I'm going by what I saw last year, which was a horrific, historically bad defense. So why not change it into something that's simple, something that would instantly increase speed? Instead, you're running a more complex scheme. So could the scheme work? Sure. Do you have the players to make it work? No, you don't. And I'm now if your defense week one gives up 41 points and at the end of the season you're giving up 20, I'll retract everything. But the way you look right now, it wouldn't surprise me if Aaron Glenn gets fired. It wouldn't surprise me if he gets fired. It also wouldn't surprise me at the end of the season they say, you know what, we tried it. Let's go back to what worked with the Saints, which won 49 games in 4 years together. Let's do that because it's a proven working system. That's just my opinion. Normally he is. This year he's on the hopium. Decker played right tackle in college. I see if he can play on the right. So okay, if he comes back in 8 weeks, it'll be very interesting. That's something we're going to keep an eye out on, because I really want to see if they just make the flip flop, because you're paying Decker left tackle price. All right, you're paying him a premier price. You don't want to just move him on the right side, but if you do that, then you're going to keep him. In my opinion, what I could see them doing is putting him back on the left, putting Sewell on the right for this year, and then saying, hey, Decker, what can we get? You know, keep in mind, Orlando Brown, he was the right tackle in Baltimore. They moved him over to the left side when Staley got hurt. What did they get from Kansas City? A first, a third, and a fourth. So when if Decker plays on the left side, right? Because it's much easier to get a right tackle than it is a left tackle. So you put Decker on the left side. Season's up. Who wants a left tackle? Well, what'd you get for Stafford? Was it 2 number one, 3 number ones, 2 number ones? You could easily get a solid second, maybe a second and the fifth, a third and the fifth, and you could get some really good capital for Decker. Now, if you want to put Decker on the right, sure, but I think you're going to put him back on the left side and then auction him off to the highest bidder in the 2022 off season. And he would get a good draft pick. You would get a draft pick who would be a starter. So that's my opinion. Why not move that? Well, I think this is going to be something we'll follow up on. So there was a few times someone was open deeper and he checked down and we counted Apple. Oh yeah. So Dan, what's with Green Bay in your opinion? I think saying, you know what? Let's just talk about this right now. I'm really behind on comments. Okay. I really think that this Green Bay Saints game was important because I think Green Bay was really overhyped and it's due for a slide down. Every year LaFleur's been there, they've had a game where they just did not show up for. Last year, both years, 1 and 2, after a bye, they get blown out. I think they got blown out. It was like 37-8 after a bye. A lot of teams play better after a bye, but both times in LaFleur's career, they would show up after a bye and just lay down. That's another thing, is that when Green Bay has a bye, I'm going to bet against them. I'm going to see if this trend continues. Every year, Green Bay has a game that they just completely don't show up for. I think this is telling. People were saying this is an NFC Championship game with Rodgers or a Super Bowl team. No. Teams that consistently lay down like this, there's a problem. There is a problem. I don't know if it's Rodgers. I don't know if they just got lucky the last couple. Now, is Green Bay going to be a 4-win team? No. But I think there's no way that they're going to be a 13-win team. I don't think they're getting back to the NFC Championship game. I think something's legitimately wrong. I think there's something legitimately wrong. On the flip side, people were underestimating the Saints. I think the Saints are for real. That defense is good. That defense is really good. All right. I just talked about it on the other. I mean, that's a very good defense. Alvin Kamara is an MVP candidate, and Winston has a ton of ability. People forget this is a Heisman Trophy winner. This guy threw for 5,000 yards. Yeah, I know threw for 450 interceptions. Remember, Tampa Bay didn't give up on Winston so I could replace him or a rookie. They got freaking Tom Brady. All right, they got Tom Brady. Tom Brady would replace 28, 29 quarterbacks in the NFL. Seriously, there's only 2 or 3 quarterbacks that you're not replacing Tom Brady with. I think the Saints are for real. I think people that thought the Saints regime, no, this is a good defense. You still got Kamara. And Winston's upside is immense. You're 100% right, Mike. The Saints are for real, and Green Bay has problems. I'm excited to see how they handle things against Detroit, but even if they put up 50 against Detroit, I'm still like, you better watch out for Green Bay. This is a team, it wouldn't surprise me if Green Bay finishes 9-8. Wouldn't surprise me. But Bosa literally got frustrated. That's a good thing. It's good that you have your rookies play well. I saw a few plays that he made, but I didn't watch the whole game. So I can't give you 100% input, but this is a guy I really liked. I thought he'd go in the second round. You got him in the fourth. And he'll be, if he's not an immediate starter, he'll be a starter by the end of the year. You have a good – Amon-Ra St. Brown ceiling is a number 2 wide receiver, all right? He's not a number 1 guy. And don't go into – 2022 and say this is an elite. No, he's not. He's not going to be a top 10 wide receiver. He doesn't have that skill set. If you have a legitimate number 1, which I think you'll get in 22, you'll get somebody either in the draft or in free agency. This is going to be a great guy. He's going to have good. It wouldn't surprise me if he stays in Detroit for 10 years and sells lots of jerseys. Speaking of jersey, where's my jersey one pride? I've been waiting for it. Do I think Aaron Rodgers done the Packers? And do you think he definitely didn't throw the game, but there's something wrong. And this has been a trend with Green Bay that every single day, at least once a year, they just completely fall apart. And it's hard to say, but I think no. Bakhtiari, the left tackle, was out. The center, remember, he left to go to the Chargers. The offensive line's not that good. I know they got a rookie third-round pick, Amari Rodgers, I believe it is, to help out. But there's some issues with Green Bay. There is some issues with Green Bay. Kind of nervous the Broncos going to Jax and hosting the Jets. Thank you. I'll be here all night. This is awesome. Amara has just made TDs this year as he has hooker. I don't know what Detroit did to Amendola, but he's been good with us. Pharaoh Brown has been really good. Guys, we signed right before week 1. There's some good things in Houston, man. There are some good things in Houston. If an underthrown ball and Okuda never knew the ball was coming, yeah, I'll miss. I'll take him all right. I would too. Alex Danny was okay. We never got in the end zone. He seriously has first and last TD in his first game in Detroit. Campbell needs to start. I thought Barnes did start. Me and Luke talked after he was on. He said Barnes earned the starting inside linebacker spot. So I'm kind of surprised. Anthony Miller will be back in Houston after a brief COVID sit, rolling him out Sunday. Okay, I was going to ask about that. By the way, Anthony Miller's a guy I absolutely loved coming out of Memphis. I want to see how he does in Houston, because I think he actually could be an upgrade over Randall Cobb. Barnes and Pittman or Beckett should start. Alex and Jamie both looked awful. Jamie get replaced by Barnes, sadly. Anals, he's familiar with the defense. That's why I didn't like it. But, I mean, keep in mind when you're playing nickel, it's almost the same thing. So, yeah. Hey, Denver, I'd be worried about going to Jacksonville. The place is a dumpster. Denver Gator, thanks for – I liked Philip Lindsay. I would not have been mad if he was in a Chiefs uniform. Well, we will have over $100 million in cap next year, and yeah, bright future. Just 2021 is going to be hard. All right. Holmes has proven he can find his talent can find talent as obstacle. Well, here's the thing, and this is the interesting conversation. Let's say you have a top 5 pick, plus you're going to have whatever the Rams give you in the first round. So you have 2 number ones. One's going to be, let's just say the Rams are going to have a low. So let's just say you're going to have a top 5 pick and a bottom 8 pick. All right. Do you use those picks on players to help? Like you get somebody elite, like you get your boy Thibodeau, Derek. I think it's Stingley, the LSU corner, who's going to go very, very high. You talked about him last show, the defensive tackle. I think it's Veal, the defensive tackle out of Texas A&M. Do you get a player like that, or do you go ahead and you take a quarterback? And I don't know which quarterback. Some people think Spencer Rattler might be the guy, or do you just wait till 2023 and get your guy, or is there a guy in free agency? You know, I mean, is there a guy in free agency who might be available? You know, I would love nothing more and see. I know Funk said he'd hate it, but I would love nothing more to see Aaron Rodgers go to Detroit for a year or two. So, yeah. It is going to be hard, but I'm not sure you give up on Goff. You may just want to build around him because he doesn't have much there. I mean, the offensive line looks like it's going to be solid. You have some decent players around him. You need at least a legitimate number one receiver. If you look at what Diggs, sorry. Look what Stephon Diggs did in Buffalo. You got Stephon Diggs, you put him in Buffalo, boom, a championship game. So yeah. Alex, he was solid, but we had Marvin Jones, CJ. Yeah, absolutely. Erickson was a drunk. I thought he was a good college coach, but yeah, he was a drunk. Funk, I was raised in the Panhandle. It's called Redneck Riviera. That's why every greatness he starts with Florida. This team played because it had a purpose. The motto is team this year. Coley is loved by the team, unlike Bob the Destroyer at full sport. That is awesome. Lindsay is a local hero, 100% heart. Check out his chest shoulder tattoo. It says everything about him. I actually don't know what that is. I know he played in college, undrafted free agent. Me and you agree 100% that he would look great in Chiefs red. So, I don't know if you remember, Coley is from Reed's Tree. Andy Reid talked nothing but good things about him. We had a few burgers. I did not know that, actually, but Andy Reid has coached about 2/3 of the coaches in the NFL, but I don't remember Coley. I know he bounced around a few different places, but the clips I've seen of him talk, I actually like the guy. You have a lot to be excited about. What Aaron Glenn, he could. Let me tell you something. Even though it's his first year, he gives up 41 points a game, he will get fired. All right? This is a results-driven league. You give up 41 points, you will get fired. Plain simple. Last year, the team gave up on week 5. No one cared except for the rookies. Watt gave up, yelled at rookies when he gave them a sack opportunity. Yeah, that's what I was wondering, man. Jimmy, I am so sorry about Washington, man. I am so sorry about Washington. I did put 2 bets up on my bookie. I'm going to go through some more comments, but I'll talk about both of them. I didn't have a chance to log in before the show. I can do that real fast if you want, but the 2 numbers I got are no longer available. But I'm going to give you the 2 teams I bet on, and hopefully you can take advantage of me coming back for week 2 after disaster week 1. So Gator, I already love Lindsay, amazing player. Slasher, welcome, brother. I told you that. Great week 1. Great week 1 on the road. Please beat up San Francisco. Hey, man, lots of people wrong about the Texans. My theories is Rodgers totally gave the middle finger to management. Draft my replacement. Okay, put him in tick, 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 miss me yet. Ball out the rest of the season and walks away. He could. I would love him to go to Detroit. So if the Lions move Decker next year, it'll cost them over $5 million. It might be worth it if you get a good draft pick. It might be worth it if you get a good draft pick. And a lot of times when you trade a player, you can work out the contract. Just like Detroit ate the golf contract, you can work something out sometimes. By the way, you when you drafted Sewell, you had this plan in play. I'm telling you right now, they're prepared for this one way or another. It'll be very interesting to see how they handle it, if they want Decker to go to the left or, but I'm gonna tell you something. This is an addition. This is an addition. Sewell plays really good on the left side. They'll put Decker on the right, or maybe they'll move Decker to the left. And if he struggles, they'll move Sewell. Left tackle is a premium position. It's the second most important position behind quarterback. So you need to have the best player out there. If Sewell proves that he's the best player, then Decker's expendable. Personally, I would move Decker back to the left side, trade him for a high draft pick, maybe multiple picks. Maybe you can get like a third and a fifth and a conditional sixth next year. And the best part is a guy like John Dorsey is going to be able to find players later in the draft that can become starters. And that's what you're kind of looking for. Or you may be able to get a second round pick from a team that needs one. For example, take a look at the Jets. They don't have a first round pick next year. That goes to the Vikings. How bad would that be if the Vikings end up going to the playoffs and get the number one pick in the draft, which could happen? They get the Jets' number one pick. So let's say you're the Jets. You have the first pick in rounds 2 or 3, and Mekhi Becton can't come back from an injury, or maybe he's a better suit for the right side, or maybe he doesn't fit in that zone blocking scheme that LaFleur's bringing over from San Francisco, which was a question to begin with. He struggled in training camp. Maybe you trade that first pick in the third round, which is a great pick. Maybe you trade that for Decker. Yeah, you eat the $5 million. So what? You get a guy in the third round. Could be a starter. It could happen. More than likely it won't. More than likely you give him a pass, but it could. So Slasher, yeah, I'm going to try to get caught up on the comments here. I'm sorry. It won't happen this year. It'll happen after this year. Y'all still think bill of failure is right? Oh, God. Oh. Good call on the KC money line. I don't know if you saw my comment earlier. If KC had converted that 2-point conversion, I would have won a fall. Oh, God, no. Yeah, I know Andy Reid tried to cover the spread. He went for 2. He tried to cover the line for me, and he did not. I was very frustrated. Okay, so here's what happened. I ended up betting. I went on my bookie. I deposited $100 with Bitcoin, so I got $30 bonus. Plus, I had a $50 free bet. So here's what happened. I took the 50 free bet, used it on the Washington football team. Of course, I lost. I bet 50 on my bookie on over 48.5 rushing yards for CEH, which the Chiefs gave him 15 carries. 15 carries, he should have had at least 50 yards. He had 43 yards, so I lost the 50. I had a remaining balance, I think, of $82.41 I put on the money line. So my balance on my bookie is now, I think, $116 on the $100 deposit. But the free bet hurt. Anyway, I made two $50 bets this week, so I have a $16 balance. And I'll talk about both of those as soon as I'll answer a few more comments. I'll go over into my picks. So people forget we don't need to tank. Texans don't want to tank. Why should we show our future, then trade Watson to gain 3 firsts and 2 seconds or third? Absolutely. You don't want to tank. And I think there's a lot to be excited about. You have a solid running game, a solid offensive line. Your defense is improving, and Tyrod's serviceable. Tyrod's serviceable. This is a terrible division. Why can't they win? 8 and 9 may win the division. It really might. It really might. Okay. I'm going to talk about this now. and Slasher, don't get mad, even though this is cool, by the way. This is really cool. And Slasher, you're going to hate me for this. I'm just warning you. There's two teams week one that pump the brakes. One's the Eagles. The other one's Cincinnati. And I'll talk about Cincinnati first. All right. Mike Zimmer's been famous for starting off slow. They were on the road. Cincinnati had some players come back, but don't buy into Cincinnati. Don't think that, hey, we beat a good Vikings team. We're ready to roll. It's very likely that this is going to still be a 4 or 5 win team. All right. You still could have a very, very bad football team. All right. That still could happen. That win is a lot like Jacksonville winning week one last year. It could be. Now, Cincinnati could be en route to a 10-win season, but look at that division. Seriously, look at that division. Are they going to win a game in that division? I know they won last year, but, I mean, realistically, come on. I mean, they're going to finish last in the division. So, Mixon had a great game. He on a playoff caliber team, he's an MVP candidate. On the Bengals, he's just a really good player. I would pump my brakes on Cincinnati. That's the team week one. I'm like, oh, let's slow down. Slasher, I'm sorry. Number 2 team's Philly. You had a great road win, dominated Atlanta, but Atlanta's a team who's running a brand new defense, got a rookie head coach, a great win. That's a team I'm saying, let's hope that they beat San Francisco. Everybody here wants to see me win my San Francisco bet. Everybody here wants to see me, hopefully. This is a team, Philly, I would say let's hold off. Let's hold off. So Slasher, man, don't get mad. I'm just saying after week one, this would be a team I would say slow down. Pump your brakes. So Philly and Cincinnati are the 2 week one teams I'm saying watch out. These could be flukes. I think Green Bay is telling. I think that this loss is telling of a team on decline. I think the Saints, that win was telling of a team that's improving. The other 2 teams I want to talk about played each other, and that's Pittsburgh and Buffalo. I bet on Pittsburgh. I took over 8.5. I feel great about it. Pittsburgh's a dangerous team. This was a 12-win team with a Hall of Fame quarterback with one of the best defenses in the National Football League. So what do? They added a running back to a young, very, very gifted receiving core. Offensively, I don't think this team's going to score 30, 40 points a game consistently. But can they shut down a high-powered offense to 20, 24 points a game? Yes, absolutely. That defense is loaded. That defense could be the best defense in the National Football League. Plus, you have a talented receiving core, a Hall of Fame quarterback, and now you got a good running back. And he didn't play great, but it's first game of the season. He'll have some good games. Buffalo, on the other hand, showed that there's 3 reasons why Buffalo is not going to surpass Kansas City as the best team in AFC. Number 1, you can run against Buffalo. And they did a good job against the Steelers, but the Steelers were the worst running team in the National Football League with a brand new offensive line. You can run against Buffalo. All right. Buffalo can't run the ball. Singletary, I think, had 75 yards on 11 carries, but they want to be a pass-heavy offense. And number 3, and this is paramount, and this I don't understand why Bills fans don't understand how bad and dumb this is. You don't want Josh Allen running the ball and designed runs 5 times a game. Why are you giving Josh Allen the ball and saying, hey, I know it's week 1 against a great defense. Why don't you run the ball? We just gave you $250 million. Just run the ball. Why? You want to do this in the playoffs? Great, that makes sense. Why are you doing direct runs? And why do Bills fans think this is good? Hey, I saw Josh Allen run an 8-yard gain and just got killed. Why is that a good thing? Bills Mafia, why? Why do you want to see Josh Allen run the ball? Please explain this to me. That your cornerstone franchise quarterback, you want to run the ball week 1 on design runs? Why? Please explain this to me. How is this smart? This is the opposite of smart, because here's the deal. If Josh Allen goes down, your whole team falls apart because you're losing part of your running game, which you didn't want to address in the offseason. You can't stop the run. Your defense isn't that good. You're a pass-heavy team, right? This is a big mistake. They should have got defensive tackles, and they should have got another running back. And don't give me Breida's the answer. That's not the answer. Singletary played well. They maybe need to increase his workload. But this is why Buffalo's going to take a step back. And this is why Pittsburgh, a team that 8.5, this is a team that's going to be dangerous. Look, Hall of Fame quarterback, talented receiving core, the best running back in the draft, and a great defense. That wins games. That'll at least get you a 9. So, yeah. All right. Sorry, I ranted here. Goff is barely a starting quarterback. He got Tyrod Williams killed and threw a few other balls late that guys took hits on. Like with Hockett 20 seconds ago, and a poor choice and was late. I get what you're saying. And here's the thing, Funk. Also, how much of this is the coaching design, too? How much of this is the coach telling him what to do, and how much of it's Goff? Well, the whole year. But this will be something that, because he'll be the starting quarterback this year and probably next year. And if you do draft a quarterback, Goff will start the year as a starter. So we'll find out. Alex, no one has given 3 firsts and 2 seconds or thirds for Watson. It could happen, Mike. It could. I don't think it'll be quite that much either, but it could happen. I was wrong about Stafford. I thought Stafford, you get a third. I didn't think it'd be 2 number 1s. And I think Watson's worth considerably more than Stafford. So, hey, it wasn't your fault. Yeah. But I have to admit, the Chargers defense caused enough problems to injure him, and banking on a 38-year-old journeyman quarterback. But yeah, man, this is a tough loss, man. Depends on what this legal standing depends on his legal standing. He will play a year or 2 after they give up many high picks as a gamble, not a bad one. Absolutely. Steelers. Okay, good. I was wondering how much the Steelers money line. Great bet, by the way. One I should have took advantage of. Hey Dan, that game in KC was closer than I expected. Almost had it. They were able to run the ball. And I was a little disappointed about that. Kansas City was not able to run the ball against Cleveland. And Malik Mcdowell, if you don't know the story behind Malik Mcdowell, this guy was a top 10 draft, or going to be a top 10 draft pick after his junior year at Michigan State. Looked like a monster. Had a real bad senior season. Got drafted in the 2nd round by Seattle. I thought was going to be a great player. Got injured, was out of football. Just came into Cleveland training camp. He was just trying to make a team, got the starting job, played phenomenal. A ton of talent. And he's a gifted guy. If he just says, hey, look, I'm just going to be a run stuffer. With those defensive ends on the outside, if Clowney can stay healthy, that's a dangerous defensive line. Kansas City, I really thought, like I said, I put 50 on CEH over 48.5 rushing yards. I was like, 48.5, that's it? Oh, hell yeah, I'm putting 50 on this. Got 43. I'm a dummy. But, yeah. They weren't able to run the ball, so they had to be one-dimensional, which luckily Kansas City can be one-dimensional and win, quite a few games. But I wasn't expecting that. I thought they'd be a lot more balanced. You watch against Baltimore, they'll try to run the ball. Hopefully they'll have a lot more success. But, yeah, they weren't able to run the ball. They got to be one-dimensional. Baker's not as good as Mahomes. People that are high on Baker need to realize he's an average to above average quarterback. He's not a guy who's going to lift you to the next tier, but he's also not going to lose you a lot of games. But yeah, I had money on the money line and a little on 6. So Yeah. I didn't have a good week one. I do not, Jimmy. I do not, but I do have two bets that I do want to talk about here shortly. Have me and Mike ever Mike likes to be honorary and disagree with a lot of people, but I cannot thank Mike enough. I love hearing from him. So yeah, maybe not. Also think with Verrett and Mozart out, we have a way better chance. Bosa will be playing on the side of Lane Johnson, Brandon Brooks. So hopefully that's kind of what I'm hoping. I need a big win from the Eagles. So we could potentially beat the Packers. Like you said, they lost a lot, and Rodgers is salty at the Packers, not the league, and also did the same thing to McCarthy. Got him. That's right. I was surprised at how bad the defense was. The defense, remember, they got a new defensive coordinator, and I was hoping that it would be better, but I don't think it will be. So, yeah. I really don't think they wanted Sewell on the left. Deckard's a very good player, and I think they went Sewell with excellent mobility to lock down the right. Deckard is worth it first. He could be. Let me explain. If you get the first pick in the second round or the first pick in the third round, that's a great draft pick because you basically get the caliber of player who's in the round before, but you get to pay him the price of that round. So a first round pick is the difference between pick 32 and pick 33 is about $1.5 million. I don't know what it is off the top of my head, second and third, but every round you drop in pay. So pick number 33 is gold. If you can get pick number 30, which I don't think the Jets are going to give up pick 33, but if they give up pick 65, that's like getting a second round pick. That's a starter. That's a good thing. If you can get the first pick in the third round for Decker, I would take that in a heartbeat. But I kind of think I'm kind of thinking because you gave Decker, didn't you give him the contract this year? I don't remember off the top of my head, but I'm thinking the same thing you're thinking is that they wanted Sewell on the right. But if Sewell balls out for the next couple of weeks, he'll be the starter on the left side. He could be. No, we got some debate. I don't have the ability to argue this, but I will tell you this. This is a fact. If Sewell plays lights out on the left side as a rookie, he will stay there. And Decker could be elite. That could be. Keys for Houston winning Sunday, stuff to run, score early, force them to throw. Mayfield is thrown consistently. Exactly. If you stop the run, Cleveland you will fall apart. But the one thing they do a really good job of is they do a lot of play action. They do a lot of bootlegs. And this is going to be very interesting because the Tampa Ii defense is actually built for bootlegs. I almost want to break out my whiteboard because the way it works is that you're attacking the quarterback with your front four in a standard 4-3. Okay, actually this works whether it's a 4-3 or 4-2-5. Let's go with the 4-2-5, all right? Your middle, okay, even though it's two inside linebackers, one's going to play on the outside, one's going to play on the inside, all right? The way it works out is that your nickel corner will play in a zone with the two wide receiver set. He'll shut the Tampa Ii defense. Your receivers basically bump and then play in that zone. All right, they'll play back about 7 to 10 yards as general thumb. Your linebacker will go out into the flat, and then your middle linebacker just bolts back and basically takes on the middle of the field. Okay. It's called the Tampa Ii because the two deep safeties cut off the field in halves. Nothing gets deep. They basically play about 17 to 20 yards. They play really, really deep. So you can't do anything deep. Everything's in front of you. All right. Because you're outside, your nickel corner and your outside linebacker are going to just go like this. When the quarterback bootlegs around, somebody's going to be there. So that's what's interesting because if they play disciplined football, the bootleg will not be effective. It will not be effective. But if you get somebody to bite, because, you got Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb's a stud. Let's just say it. He's a stud. So if everybody flies to the ball, and Baker Mayfield's wide open and he can, have plenty of time, then he's going to pick your team apart. But if you have a guy who's on Baker Mayfield, you can force him to make errors. That the line's 12.5. I'm tempted to take Houston on it, even though I already made 2 bets. That wasn't one of them. But yeah, here's the deal. If you're Houston, you want this to be a low-scoring game, and you want to force Baker to make a play. You want to force Baker to make a play. You don't want to force Nick Chubb. I mean, Nick Chubb's the best player on that offense. Let's be very clear. He's easily the best player on that offense. So, yeah. Easier to make this team throw a mistake. Yeah, exactly. Wow, you said a lot better than I did. So, I don't understand why you draft somebody to replace a guy who's only 28 when you have under contract. And on the guy. Here's the deal. I agree with everything you're saying, but if Sewell balls out on the left side, he's going to stay there. I think that if you have a guy that you paid and he's a good left tackle, I think the plan was to have Sewell just play on the right, but this could work because it's a lot easier to place a right tackle than as a left tackle. And that's why you could trade this guy and get a solid number 2, maybe multiple picks that you can build into starters, and you need talent. So I know the Falcons have a bottom of the barrel defense, but their offense is ranked in the top 10 or 12. And analysts said the Eagles defense ranked below 20th. They even scored 1 TD. Yes. Now keep in mind, the Falcons have a brand new coaching staff, brand new systems on both sides of the ball. That's why I'm saying just pump your brakes. But we are both polling for them to beat San Francisco. Titans are a toss-up for me this year. Colts didn't look great, and the Jags are going to be a top 3 worst team. Well, bottom 3, I guess. Hey, you're right. Funk, I wouldn't say Decker's a top 10 tackle, but very good. I put him around 10th, top 15. Sewell can be elite. Would you rather Decker on Sewell? Baltimore. That's going to be a good game, Kansas City at Baltimore. Okay, I'm a little behind. I'm going to get caught up on comments. I'm going to talk about Kansas City and Baltimore. I don't want him over there. I just believe that they could make Sewell the best right tackle in the league, and the kid struggles moving right in the pass pro. Titans are one thing that somebody pointed out was that Corey Davis was a great run blocker. And that's something that Julio Jones really didn't have to do at Atlanta. I didn't have a chance to watch this game, so I couldn't vouch for that. But that's a good thing for your Texans. I agree, Funk. Sewell is a left tackle. We are literally the youngest. That's a good thing. There's lots of good things to like. Dan, please look up the play with 20 seconds left to go. He had a fade in the end zone, and he chose to throw a pass that wasn't even enough for a first. Hawk was on an out route and had to stop inbounds. I think I know the play you're talking about, the play that was up like 4th and 13, and he threw it to nothing. And it looked like he was running backwards and just kind of threw a Hail Mary, which instead of just throwing the ball into the end zone, he just threw it, looked like the nothing. And I think that what he was thinking, and again, you would know better than I would. I really think that what the drill is that Detroit beat into Goff's 1002, 1000, 1001, 1002, 1003. And I think that they called the play, and regardless of what was going on, he was going to throw it to a particular spot. That's kind of the way I see it. I could be wrong. Cleveland will beat the Chiefs in the playoffs this postseason. I got a feeling third time will be the charm, and Super Bowl loser hangover is a real thing. Amazement. Hopefully that will not happen, but it could. I think Cleveland's going to surprise a lot of people and not make the playoffs. However, Malik McDowell played dominant. He had a great game. And if he plays great and Clowney stays healthy, Myles Garrett's an MVP candidate. I mean, that defense is going to be good. But they played really well. They played really well. Give them a ton of credit. If they play that well again, I can tell you this as a Chiefs fan, I don't want to see Cleveland. If Cleveland ends up being a 13-4 team or 12-5, I don't want to see them in the playoffs. But I think you'll see teams know how to attack Cleveland, and that's stuff to run. Chubb's been famous for getting hurt. too. Chubb's never been able to stay healthy, not on the college level and not in the pros. If Chubb goes down, I think that this is a very mediocre team. Odell Beckham coming back, I think, means nothing. I really don't. I really don't. So, but hopefully you're wrong. But hey, man, amazement. Welcome, man. Lions D needs a lot of work. I am really shit. I had no idea what was behind on comments. Receivers need to stop dropping balls. Goff had wide open passes and moved dropped. I'm gonna have to go back and watch this because, like, from the stat line, it looked like it was just dink and dunk, and my guess would be that it is for it was by design. He nearly got killed, and he got killed on play because he had to wait for the ball. Cannon got started right tackle against the Jags. Heck is back from a COVID sit on his own. Will switch in and put Cannon, most likely since Cannon's getting back from injury. I forgot about the offensive line situation. I actually thought Heck started. So, hey, let's talk about those Raiders getting to celebrate twice. And that was a great win. And, man, God, okay. You know what? Let's talk about it now. I made 2 bets Sunday night on my bookie, and unfortunately, you cannot get either one of these. And the reason why is that I made them both early. I took the New England Patriots money line, and when I made this bet, the line was 3.5. It's now 5.5. And I would strongly urge you, if you can put action on the Patriots, go ahead and take it. I took the money line at -210. I bet 50 to win 23.81. The money line's now like 255. I don't know why I was able to get 3.5, but I was able to get 3.5. Bill Belichick against a rookie quarterback. I have to admit, I didn't see much of the game between Miami, but this is a different beast. I feel pretty good about the Patriots. Definitely love the money line. The second bet I was able to make was I got the Kansas City Chiefs at 2.5. I got them at 2.5, and I made this bet before the Ravens-Raiders game. The reason why I made it before was I really thought the Ravens would win, but I thought a player might get hurt. And I figured, well, there's no way it's really going to drop below 2.5, but it could go up to 3.5, which you can get now. If you can find 3, take 3. I always am hesitant about taking 3.5. And about the Raiders, the last 2 years, they've started fast. The Raiders start the first half of the year good, and then they slide back. But great win for Vegas. Great win. That's going to be a lot of fun because they had some stars there in Vegas. That stadium looks awesome. It's going to be a real interesting team. I did bet 100 on them over 8, and I feel good about this win. So, yeah. Over under 3 years for Urban staying in Jacksonville. I'm sorry. I'm not on coke, I promise, but I am a little scatterheaded. Whoever put the comment in about the coaching staff and Urban not getting along, if that's true, if there's any conflict, I would definitely say under. The USC job is a premier job. All right. It is a premier job. It is a job that whatever he's making in Jacksonville, the USC can match. There's a handful of schools that can do that. USC is one of them. I mean, I like Texas. Texas is an elite, especially going to SEC. Notre Dame. I'm not trying to talk trash here. Michigan's an elite job. I think Harbaugh makes more than Nick Saban. There's not too many elite jobs. I know there's talk about Eric Bieniemy, which I don't think he would go there, but I would say right now under. It wouldn't surprise me if Urban just, hey, look, I tried it. It's not for me. I'll coach USC and make, 10 to 12 million a year. So As of roughly 7:35 p.m. on cutdown day, we finished collecting data from all 32 NFL team website rosters. New York Jets, the youngest team. All right. That's week one in a nutshell. Also, Miller played the entire preseason with a dislocated shoulder. He needs surgery and also seems a small stint on COVID. That's definitely a good thing. I did not know that. Joe Barry literally is coordinator for the 0-16 Lions after they fired Pettin. Rodgers is nothing but a front-running finger pointer and not a leader. He's a totally different QB when he's trailing. Wow, unlike Brady or Mahomes. There is not a lot of Rodgers. Wow. People acting Rodgers hasn't acted like this before and he's the reason why the Packers fired. Yeah, that story about, I don't know if you remember a couple of years ago, there was that article about Rodgers and how he got McCarthy fired and changed all the plays. And there was this wide receiver, Janis, who was playing awesome. He was like a rookie 7th round pick. He became Rodgers' whipping boy. And Rodgers basically got him fired from the league. And there was a lot of players that weren't happy with Rodgers. And some Packers fans, I talked about it. And I remember some Packers fans were like, oh, these are just angry players. And it's like, how come you never heard this about Drew Brees or Peyton Manning or Tom Brady, but you hear it consistently about Rodgers? There's something there. I mean, there is something there. Rodgers isn't a guy who's there for everybody. I mean, there's issues. I mean, there's something there right now. I want Houston to do full. Brandon Cooks is the only I wouldn't say the only one. Yeah. There is an issue with Rodgers. Mike, I've been saying that for years now. I just call it a hater because I'm from Detroit. Slasher with an he's a brat. I feel like there's like something here on my nose. All right. It's not Coke. What else do you guys? Oh my God. Years a Packer fired McCarthy. Rodgers led the league in throwaways, so think he's throwing these games on purpose. And years of bad drafting have started taking a toll on the Packers. The last 2 years have been really bad drafts. So Tunsil, Blacklock, Taylor, Ingram, Phillips, Reed. I also heard Rodgers doesn't speak. No, that is true. He's estranged from his family. And the rumor I heard was that his family kept asking him for money. And finally, after the third or fourth time, he's like, I earned this. So I don't know about that. I've heard of a lot of NFL players that they get signed. I remember there was one player, I think it was Fabian Washington. He was first round pick by the Raiders. And anyway, he gets signed and he's all happy and he picks up the phone. You could tell his face changes. Well, it turned out to be it was his mom saying, you owe me $1 million. And I was like, damn. And so I mean, it's hard to say how people would react. Matter of fact, there was a story on, I think it was on ESPN. I'm drawing a blank here on the guy's name. The left tackle for the Dallas Cowboys, Tyron Smith. Okay, his girlfriend, and there were some issues also. Different situation, but anyways, I think wife now, but at the time fiance was white, and she was a few years older. Tyron was 20 when he entered the NFL, and his girlfriend, who he met at USC, was 25 and white. Apparently, the mother had an issue with that. She worked for it's a big company. If I said the name, you would know it. It's a big financial institution. So she's working with Tyrod about, hey, you're going to make this amount of money, but it's going to last for the next 80 years. And remember, he signed a big contract, but it was a long-term contract. Most NFL experts would say it's not a smart deal, but it's guaranteed money over the length of the contract. I think it was something crazy. It was like a 12-year guaranteed $84 million contract, something goofy. But anyway, he called the police on his family because his family was at his front gate trying to break in down the door to try to get him to give him money. So there's all sorts of stories about that where family members, want money. it's kind of sad, but it's, it is what it is. With Rodgers, I could kind of see that, I mean, let's face it, Rodgers has pretty much unlimited supply of money. And he's one of the smartest guys in the NFL, whether he's a dick or not, maybe probably is, but I mean, he's set for life financially. And, maybe you're the mom. I know his brother was like on The Bachelor or something, said like, hey, we just don't talk. And that's that. Maybe his brother asked him for money. Who knows? Maybe Rodgers is just a dick. It wouldn't surprise me. I think that when he retires, there'll be a lot of stories about Aaron Rodgers being a dick, Anyway, some positive things about the Texans. So, amazement. I keep saying there's a reason you never hear about offensive talent wanting to go play in Green Bay. It's because Rodgers being a diva throws everybody under the bus. Am I crazy, or can all four NFC West teams make the playoffs as possible? Absolutely, it's possible. Absolutely. Hopefully, it doesn't happen. Hopefully, but yeah, absolutely it can happen. But I mean, it's a long season. A long season. Hopefully, the 49ers will lose this week. So, oh shit, I am really behind. I'm sorry, guys. God, I'm so happy to be back here talking Wednesdays, man. I am so happy to talk football. I'm so glad you guys are here. If you don't mind, give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. Sir. Okay. If you're wondering why I'm looking, the camera's in front of me, but I have the monitor, so I'm looking at myself because I'm amazed with myself. I like my hair. It comes. Okay. We got some arguing here. I love it as long as it's friendly. Don't do that evil in here. I drafted Chubb. I'm sorry. Okay, let me tell you something. One Pride 40. Hopefully, if it's a non-money league, it doesn't matter. But if you're here to make some money, then I will help you. But if it's a free league, then no. I don't want to face Chubb Pride. I don't think it was completely by design, but maybe it was roomy during camp that Garf couldn't. Okay, that is interesting. I kind of thought it would be by design, especially if you have a rookie left tackle who's on the right side. It would make a lot of sense for me just to say, look, you got to play 17 games. Just get rid of the ball. Forget the wins and losses. Believe it or not, that happens a lot more than you would think, where teams just say, look, we need you to play 17 games. So 1, 2, 3, get rid of it, regardless of any situation. So, I mean, that offensive line situation is not something any team would really handle well. So if Sewell played good on the left side, that's a major win for the Detroit Lions. So, yeah. No. All right, chat. Let's sound off score predictions for your teams. Week 2, I'll start Broncos over Jags, 31-9. Maybe Jags score 16. Time. Alex, we're gonna have to take this. Browns overtake the Texans 31-27. All right. LSU job may open up to Coach O's overrated. That's definitely a possibility. He needs to do something. He needs to do something fast. He needs to do something very fast. So. Red Sea, where them Chandler Jones haters at now? 5 sacks. And hopefully he continues to play well. He is going to have a lot of the contract. You know what? I'm glad you're here. The contract situation with Chandler Jones is a tough one because he's coming back from an injury. I think he's 31, and you got to have money for other players. You also want to go ahead and you got to save as much money as you can because Kyler Murray is going to want a boatload of money. I mean, you saw how much money I just his name. Oh God. Oh God. I'm sorry, Josh Allen. You saw how much money Josh Allen got. Because Josh Allen got over 250,000 or 250 million, over 250,000. Jesus. He gets 250,000 in 5 minutes of the game, but being the contracts that you got, Mahomes got $500 million. Josh Allen got $256 million. Kyler Murray's going to want an arm and a leg. I mean, he's going to want something crazy. So that contract situation is going to be very, very difficult, because I think Arizona would love to pay him. I really think they would. The problem is that when Kyler Murray's contract comes up, they have to find ways to get money. And it's not paying him this year or paying him next year. It's going to be, hey, look, at 34, can we give you $15 million, when we have to figure out a way to give legitimately $70 million a year to Kyler Murray. And that I'm not even joking. He may make $75 million a year. I'm not exaggerating. I mean, he literally, what's 5 times 75? 275. He could sign a 5-year, $275 million contract. It would not surprise me. Did I do my math right? 75 times 5. 75 times 5. Is that 375? I'm sorry. I messed up. I wasn't even close. All right. He could sign a 5-year, $375 million contract. He really could. Kyler Murray's contract could be insane. So, oh God, this is awesome. Okay, oh God, yeah, okay, no, this is so awesome. Similar story happened to Ray Lewis. He cut off a friend because he kept asking for cash. He gave him a big bag of cash and told him, "Have a nice life, just so you have deal." Yeah, there's a lot of stories like that in the NFL. Players, have friends that, I mean, if you watch the story Broke, watch Broke, and you see so many, and it's really a shame. It's really a shame, and it's something that people like me, well, most of the people in here, I can't vouch for everybody in here, but I'm pretty sure. It's hard to say. I know I don't know anybody who's signed a $100 million contract. I have some really close personal friends. I don't know how I would react if I knew one of my friends made $100 million. I found out this summer my buddy's wife made a lot more money than I thought, but I should have made sense to me. But I was like, wow, your wife makes how much money? And then I had no idea. I didn't be like, hey, loan me some money, but I mean, it's not 9 figures money. But yeah. I could see if I had NFL or NBA money and I had a buddy who kept on, hey man, can I have $40,000, $50,000? I would probably do the same thing. Just here you go. Just don't talk, delete my number. I always told myself I don't play the lottery, but if I won the lottery or something, I would just throw my phone. I would just throw my phone in the trash and I would live on an island somewhere. I'd call my parents after a couple months, be like, yeah, I'm on an island. I'll pay for your house. Oh God, this is awesome. Oh, Hughes, the next QB getting a big deal, Lamar or Baker. And these are two tough situations because Lamar Jackson actually doesn't have an agent. Good luck. And Baker's a tough one because what do you do? I mean, if he turned down, I think the Browns offered him a 3-year, $93 million deal, which was smart by the Browns because it's a low ball number. And they, if the Browns are smart, they're saying, hey, look, you take a low number. You already took Cleveland to the playoffs. You won them a game. You're on those progressive commercials are awesome, by the way. Look, you're a stud in Cleveland for life. All right. You never have to pay for another meal. You can settle down in Cleveland. Your family be treated like royalty. You can run for mayor someday. It's a great thing. Go ahead, take a pay cut. Look what Tom Brady did. Tom Brady took a pay cut, won 6-7 Super Bowls. More than likely, he's not going to do that. He's going to want 40, 50 million a year. That's a tough one because he's not worth it. He's not. You take Baker. You could replace Baker Mayfield with somebody, and you Browns would still be a 10-11 win team. Baker's a tough one. Lamar Jackson's a tough one because nobody can really replace Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson gets hurt. You kind of. I think they got Trace McSorley and somebody else. I can't remember who the other quarterback is, but he's so unique and different because he runs the ball. He's subject to more injuries. So it's a tough one. It's a tough one. So this is awesome. This is awesome. Kyler Murray has come out and said that it isn't about the money for him, so you never know. Chandler is a must resign for a team. Anytime a professional athlete says it's not about the money, means that it is about the money. And the Kyler Murray deal is going to be so difficult because he could ask for anything and it won't be seen ridiculous. I really think that contract, I think he could make $75 million a year. I really believe that. I think the Cardinals will make him the highest paid per year quarterback in the NFL when his contract is up. And they'll do the same thing. They'll do the same thing that the Chiefs did with Mahomes. They'll give him the 5th-year option. And if they're smart, they give him the 5th-year option, then resign him to a nice contract. And hopefully they do it smartly, like the Chiefs did with Mahomes, where you can change parts of the contract to reduce the cap number. That was a brilliant contract for the Kansas City Chiefs, because when the Chiefs gave Mahomes $500 million, it raised the level of pay for every other NFL quarterback, but it was also team friendly. It's hard to believe that you pay a quarterback $500 million and it's a team friendly deal, but that's what the Chiefs did. And it forced Buffalo to give I think it's a 6-year, $256 million contract to Josh Allen. And it also forced the Houston Texans to give, I think, Deshaun Watson got a 4-year, $180-some million contract. But Kyler Murray, that contract is going to be so difficult. It's going to be so difficult. So, yeah. If Buffalo built a team around Tyrod, he'd be I honestly think that they could have, and I think you'd be right. But I think his ceiling was like top 15. Josh Allen has, a lot more. Josh Allen's upside's amazing. But as long as they insist on him being a runner, I think they're shooting themselves in the foot in Buffalo. So I love this. Do you watch any national media shows or podcasts? Me personally, national media full of agendas. The Around the Sticks podcast with Bucky Brooks and Daniel Jeremiah is a must listen to. And then Wager Talk has a show. I need to start promoting it just because I love it. It's on Friday afternoon. It's like Prop Bet Friday or something. Do me a favor. If you shoot me an email, I'll send you a link. If you do sports betting, it's a must listen to because it's a great prop show. The first bet that they had was Andy Dalton over on attempts, which hit by it was like 33. I couldn't get it on my bookie. I would have put money on it, but if you want a good, it's something prop. It's on Wager Talk. But I listen to Wager Talk because they do sports betting. It's just, there's no homerism at all on the show. That's what I like about it. Now, a lot of their videos will try to get you to go to their website to buy their picks. I get that. It makes sense. And there's a few guys that I would recommend, not everybody. But there's a prop show on Friday afternoon that is a must follow. I listen to it every Friday. It comes on for the NFL season. It's Mid-Major Matt. And I can't remember the other two guys, but I follow these guys on Twitter. Great show. And then Daniel Jeremiah, Between the Sticks podcast. Those two are must follows for me. Everything else, I'm kind of like, it's more built for show and flash than it is for substance. And that's kind of news in general, unfortunately. That's why even though I'm a a Chiefs fan, I try very, very hard not to push the Kansas City Chiefs, even though I'm guilty of it. So, wow, I actually do think so too. I do think so too. Okay, so when do we see Fields? It's a perfect time in the Bears schedule to put him in there while they play bad teams. With Fields, Matt Nagy was in Kansas City when they drafted Mahomes. He sees the benefit of not putting him out there too soon. There's some problems with the offensive line. That's a big issue. You don't want him using his feet too much. The Nagy offense that he wants to run is extremely complex. And Andy Dalton is a very smart quarterback. He's going to be able to use a lot more of the offense than Trubisky was able to. And I'm not calling Trubisky a dummy. It's just that part of the reason they got Andy Dalton was because Andy Dalton can operate this offense. They were aggressive in getting Dalton. Dalton was a big hit for the Bears because they didn't know they would be able to get Fields. Fields falling to 10 and then trading, was it 10 or 11? I don't remember off the top of my head, but they traded with the Giants. The Giants were adamant they wanted to trade down, get some more picks for 2022. So there was no guarantee that Fields was going to be available. But when he was, the Bears jumped on it. But Dalton should be the quarterback, and how they used Fields for that one play, that was perfect. I don't think they want to play Fields anytime soon. However, if the Bears don't make the playoffs, Nagy will be gone. So that's a tough one. I think Jenkins was out for, I want to say COVID, but I could be wrong. We'll have to figure it out. But while the offensive line situation's in flux, you definitely don't want to put him out there. So it's not now. It's not now. If you do see him, it'll be later in the year. I don't know about Green Bay this season. I believe they'll win the division, but I put it up to them being the best of them pick. I actually, that whole division's, I think, pretty tricky. But after week one, even though the Vikings lost, I would say it's the Vikings. But that's because I think there's problems in Green Bay. I think that week one loss was very telling. It just actually occurred to me. Did that whole division go 0-1? Nobody won in that division, so I think he's feeling the pressure now. So, oh God, this is so awesome. If you watch the interview with Kyler when asked about it, he doesn't seem like the type, doesn't care much about money as he does winning. I agree, and I'll never forget before the draft, and I think this is the reason why we started talking, is that we didn't want Kyler Murray to go number one. I was wrong, and I remember in an interview he came across really awkward, and he's not a real vocal person. He's not a big media person. And then remember, he had all that money from the A's. He had like a $4 million contract with the A's going into college. He was just playing football for fun. And I'll win a Heisman. And then, I'm going to go play baseball. And then they were like, dude, you can go number one. You can make so much more money in the NFL. And I was like, this isn't it. This isn't like running back. You could play running back in the NFL and play baseball. If you're Deion Sanders, you can play baseball, but you can't be a quarterback and play baseball inside. You can't do it. And so I wasn't sure he'd be successful. He seemed to put everything into it. Here's the thing, though, and I don't know who his agent is, but his agent's got to be telling him, listen, you're going to make generational wealth, not just for you and your kids, but your grandchildren and maybe your children after that. So you want to maximize every money because you're playing in a finite, this is a finite time for you to make money, especially the way he plays. He's not going to play till he's 45, right? He's not going to play till he's 45. He's probably going to play till he's, let's just say 30 something. All right. You're never going to have an opportunity to make this much money ever again. And if you live till you're 80, you want to maximize the most that you can get now. So hopefully his agent is telling him, hey, make that money. There's nothing wrong with that. The Chiefs signing Mahomes to a $500 million deal was a team-friendly contract, believe it or not. So Kyler Murray becoming the highest paid player in the NFL doesn't have to necessarily hamstring the Cardinals, but that contract is going to be tough because he could ask for as much, and he will get it. To think that he's going to take a massive pay cut so he can win more, it's nice, but it's not going to happen. He's going to get paid a buttload of money, barring injury. So this is so awesome. I love these. These are great. Constantly say that from watching him. He's I absolutely. Yeah, Wager Talk's an A+ show, Amazement. So I'm glad to know that you're one of those guys that Wager Talk is a must follow if you do any sports betting. I love those guys. There's several guys. I don't want to talk too much about them, but there's several guys I would love to meet one day. Just talk football and talk about what they do. I haven't purchased any one of those plans, but there was a program once where I got like 100. I think I still got it. I think it's like 110 wager bucks. But I haven't purchased any one of their plans yet. But there's several handicappers there that I really admire and respect. At one point in time, I thought about trying to apply and being part of Wager Talk, but I like just talking football without talking gambling. So I'm going both ways here because I like to go both ways. Don't take that the wrong way. There's nothing wrong with it if you do like going both ways. So, Danny, you have time, you should watch Texans Thoughts, does amazing breakdowns. I will definitely do that. Actually, you know what? Here is it a YouTube channel? Alex, hit me up on Twitter, send me a link or something. But yeah, I'll check it out. Jesus. Oh yeah, they're college stuff, and I don't do as much on college, Mike. Every year I say I'm going to try to watch more college, and I don't have the opportunity. But yeah. Do you prefer over-unders? Okay, I very, very rarely, if ever, tease a game. I think Wager Talk would back me up on this. Very rarely tease games. I'll do both overs and unders depending on. Last year, a game I wish I would put a ton of money on, Cleveland, the Raiders, it was 54, and I was like, man, this is a high number. And then I saw there was like 35, 40-mile-an-hour winds. I was like, I'm going to put the under, and then the line just started to free fall through the week, and it went down. I think like opening day, it was like at 42 or something ridiculous. Gambling 101. Rain, snow does not affect over-unders. Wind, always, if it's high wind, take the under. High wind. Wind is the only thing that'll affect an NFL point spread. Overs, I was hesitant about the Kansas City Cleveland over. Off the top of my head, there was one game I was leaning towards the under. Actually, hold on here. I can tell you which one it is. I can't remember. I remember. Okay, yeah, I see it. Vegas and Pittsburgh. It was 47, and I was leaning towards under. But I'll with over-unders, go both ways. I will hardly ever tease a game. However, I got the Kansas City Chiefs at 2.5 this week. It's now, last time I saw is 3. That might be an opportunity. You may want to tease that down to 3. But I actually, tell you the truth, I think Chiefs will cover 3.5. So Fields would be best served. They waited till next year. The O-line is hit. Do not like. Yeah, exactly. I'm still high on. There's lots to be high on the kid. There's lots to be high on him. And then Nagy offense. He's from Kansas City. He wants to run the Andy Reid offense, which is extremely complicated. Teasers are cool, and you could be. I don't do it myself. I like Wilson, but I feel like the kid was running for his life last week. He'll have to do that. Mekhi Becton's out for a while. They got a rookie over there at guard. They're trying to be a run-heavy team, but with their defensive line being decimated by injuries, he'll have to throw the ball this year. He's in a bad situation, and I was told Darnold played really good, but he only put up 19 points, and CMC had a great game. So, I mean, we'll have some wait to see, but yeah. Hey, Mike, I like the Wager Talk for college. Well, you're familiar with SBR Sports for college. He's really good info. It's on one I like for college bets. I'll look up and share. Send that to me, Denver Gator. I'm always trying to find good people to follow. I have to get rid of a lot of local shows. I've had to unfollow a lot of people on Chiefs groups, especially on Facebook. Some of the Chiefs groups were just ridiculous. So, I'm not either, Mike. I'm not either. So yeah, share that with me. And I'll be honest, Mike, I don't think Mike does social media. At least he's not on any of the social media platforms I'm on. In the description page, I have Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You can always email me directly, whatever you want to do. So cover 3. Can you because I'll probably forget, even though I'm going to wrap this up here in a few minutes. If you don't mind, send me a link to that, and I'll check it out. I might be subscribed to it already. Jesus Christ. This is awesome. Yeah, definitely do. Please do, Alex. Definitely Twitter, because I love the I love Twitter when it comes to NFL stuff. I have to unfollow a lot of fanboy stuff, and if you get political, and any website or channel, this is a Dan thing, especially gambling sites. So there's a lot of gambling sites that want to put pictures of half naked women on there. I just instantly I don't want to, when I want to watch porn, I'll watch porn. I'm not trying to I'm not trying to look up football stuff and seeing porn. It really kind of rubs me in the wrong way. That said, don't forget to subscribe to my OnlyFans, only $39.99 a month. So yes. Okay. I'm going to wrap this up here. We've been going on for, I can't, I'm so excited to be here, man. I'm sticking to the chair because I'm wearing shorts. So yeah, I'm so glad to be back on Wednesdays. I've been looking forward to this all day long. This is such a great show. I am super jacked up. I've only had 8 cups of coffee. God, I love football. But yeah, I'm going to wrap this up here. Yeah, the snow game last year, Kansas City and Denver, everybody liked the under. I said, no, take the over. The Chiefs scored 43. I think the over under was 44. I think it was 43-18. But yeah, that's something I pay a lot of attention to is, and when's the only thing that you want to take the under for? Rain, snow, take advantage of it, but bet the over. And we'll talk a lot more about that. And this week, I did check the weather report. I was hoping there would be high wind for Pittsburgh and Vegas. It's not. The Baltimore weather for Kansas City looks like it's going to be a good game. But again, the 2 games I bet on, you can't get the lines now. I took the money line. I know it's a pussy move, but I took the money line with the Patriots because I got negative 210. Which means I have to wager 210 to win 100. I bet 50. It's now like 255 because at the time it was 3.5. Am I scared New England wouldn't cover 5.5? No, I'm not. Not against the Jets. They'll win by double digits. I'm just going to take the easy victory. And then I took the Chiefs at 2.5. So you can take advantage of both those games. And don't forget, I'm still going to be here Friday, man. I'm going to go over everything Friday. So we still got a lot of stuff going on for Friday. So yeah. All right. I'm glad. I only take overs on the big favorite if I think the game would be close. Take under if I'm thinking I'm blow. I feel the same way. And that's why now here's the thing. That Pittsburgh Raiders game could be close, but I think it's going to be a low scoring game. 47 was too close to the comfort for me to actually put action on it. But that was the one game I was kind of thinking that could be a low scoring game. But I know they put up 33 against the Ravens, but the Pittsburgh secondary is a lot better than I was expecting, and I think the Pittsburgh defense will cause the Raiders some problem. Plus, it's a team coming off of a Monday night victory, going from West Coast to East Coast. And I think Pittsburgh's offense is not going to be an offense that's going to try to score 30 points a game. I think it's going to be a lot more ball control the clock. It's not going to be a big play scoring offense, but we'll have to wait and see. I'm not going to put action on that. But that was a game I was kind of looking at and saying, I kind of, might take the under. So, yeah. If we draft a quarterback next year, we got a lot of time. We're going to talk a lot of draft stuff here, One Pride. We are going to talk a lot of, do big point spread scare you, or would you take a heavy favorite? I very rarely will take a heavy favorite. The biggest favorite this week would be Cleveland. And I'll be honest, I'm really liking the Texans to cover. But I wouldn't, I'm probably going to pass on that game, but I really, really, really think that Houston could cause Cleveland a lot of problems. I really do. I actually think this is going to be a competitive game, but I'm going to pass on it. I normally don't like taking big favorites as a general rule of thumb, but I'm not scared of it. Usually if it's a big favorite, I usually will pass. Now on this week, however, though, I do like Houston, and somebody said, yeah, I'm going to take Houston and I'm going to wait till kickoff, try to get like 12.5 or 13. I wouldn't blame you. But I'm going to wait a little bit. I'm passing on tomorrow's game. I want to see how they use Barkley. I didn't have a chance to watch either one of these teams. Heineke, I want to see what he can do. I mean, it's short notice. Both these teams are going to be run-heavy teams. Both these teams play good defense. I would lean towards the under. If I'm correct, it's like 43 or 42.5. I think it's definitely going to be a low-scoring game. But no, I'm passing. I'm not taking any action on Thursday. I'm just going to kind of enjoy the game. So, just saying, Fangio's crew is going to eat some rookie lunches next 2 weeks. Welcome to the big leagues. You think Lawrence and let me tell you something. Denver's defense is good, man. Denver's defense is good, and so this is going to be a good team. This is a good team. This is a team that definitely they're not ready to compete with Kansas City, especially with Jerry Jeudy being out. But this is a good team. Yeah. I took Heineke to have 33 rushing yards. I think he's going to accumulate a good amount. You know what, Jimmy? This is an excellent bet. And the reason why is that the Giants are going to play a ton of man defense and try to put pressure. And they're going to put pressure with blitzing and with the outside pass rush that they have. I have no idea. I think the running defense overall was solid. If you look at the box score and say no, but most of that was a 75-yard touchdown run late when they were, bunched up to the line of scrimmage. I actually like 33. It's a little higher than I would like, but I think he'll have somewhere around 40 rushing yards. So I think it's a solid bet. Since you have action on it, it's definitely something I'll keep an eye out on. I think it's a safe bet. So. Talking about porn, it rubs you wrong. I say, Denver Gator is out. One I think you need to draft a quarterback. Oh God. Okay. All right, guys. I think I'm going to wrap it up. We've been going on for 2 hours. I can't thank you guys enough for coming here. I'm so excited football season's back. I do apologize because I did not do very well with my Washington football pick. However, I will continue to win money. I feel really, really good about capitalizing on my week 2 bets. And if I do win a couple weeks in a row, I'll withdraw from my bookie and give you guys an overview. If it's very easy, if it goes to a Bitcoin wallet, and there's no problems, I'll share that with you. And of course, if it's a bad experience, I'll share that as well. Not associated with my bookie. It's just an online site that I found last year. I didn't like depositing cash. I did 100 in Bitcoin. We'll have to see how it works. So anyway, hey, listen, hopefully everybody comes back Friday. We'll talk about Thursday night football and we'll break down every single game. And as always, I'll answer any question you have and I'll do it live. Enjoy Thursday night football. See everybody back on Friday.